All right, thank you, Sean. Man, I feel good now. All right. All right. In the era of climate change, the way in which we live needs to change. 62% of Seattle's greenhouse gas emissions comes from its transportation sector. Therefore, we need to reduce our over-reliance on cars to reduce the harm we put on the environment. One of the most popular solutions to this issue is expanding the Link light rail system. However, if we were to build more infrastructure, how we always have, equity-based methods such as accessibility and coverage can't be considered. The way infrastructure has been designed and implemented into society is inherently flawed. Every project, development, and endorsement is political, and infrastructure is placed deliberately for a specific purpose. Gentrification is a consequence of ill-planned transit-oriented development, TOD. Gentrification is defined as a broad upgrading process that changes a neighborhood's socioeconomic composition very quickly as wealthy and skilled residents outbid poor residents for housing. The issue of transit-induced gentrification comes from the status of neighborhoods previously deemed hazardous and undesirable being ignored for public expenditure. The historic Black neighborhood that is the Central District was created as a result of redlining. Living in the central area of a city became popular once high-paying jobs were stationed there. Companies like Amazon, Boeing, Google, and Microsoft are among the largest drivers of median income increases. One of my questions was why gentrified neighborhoods would be against something like the Link light rail. Has previous racial and economic discrimination played a part? And I also wanted to know what could be done to gain their support. During the summer, I interned with the Seattle Subway Foundation, whose mission is to reduce car dependency through the expansion of the Link light rail system. Part of Seattle Subway's vision includes two stations in the Central District, and I was tasked with fostering better relationships in the Central District. To answer my questions, I wanted to hear directly from residents themselves, as well as community groups and business owners. I conducted 11 total interviews and created a Google Form survey that had 33 total respondents. The recurring issue I heard from both groups was gentrification and how the link might intensify it. In my survey, I asked survey takers if they have had any of their favorite businesses replaced by newer developments. 71.9% said yes. Another concern was displacement. The demolition of homes and buildings will be needed to make room for the new stations, and most people felt that the most impacted groups will be BIPOC, immigrant, and low and middle income residents. Studies show that single line systems can support TOD-driven gentrification. The appeal of city life with reliable transportation is hard to ignore, but so should the concerns of current residents. So to answer my question, yes, both factors have contributed to the disapproval of link expansion in the Central District. Longstanding residents feel that they were forced into this area and are now being forced out. And previous waves of gentrification have also intensified this feeling. After synthesizing my data, including suggestions from community groups and owners, I believe there are 4 ways to protect the current Central District population. These categories include protection, communication, long-term transportation plans, and city government actions. Each section includes feasible actions that a range of actors can take. These range from policy solutions for housing and businesses, best advocacy practices for nonprofits like Seattle Subway, alternatives to the link, and more. My survey also asked people what specific remedies they would like to see done. This shows that there is an abundance of options for us to choose from. And luckily, there is enthusiasm for the link if done right, with a 72.7% positive rating. Climate change is a devastating reality that will manifest if we don't reduce our emissions. Seattle is lucky in the sense that we can become almost emissions-free just by changing the way we travel. I chose the Central District as a case study for an issue that is prevalent across the US. It is seen in cities like Chicago, Atlanta, and Portland. My work should serve as a call to action for more research and advocacy for guilt-free climate change mitigation. And finally, while we fight to save the planet, we must ensure that we fight to save the living as well. TOD projects should should be a tool to improve the lives of those that it impacts and grant long-term economic opportunities. There's not been any success stories related to this subject, but Seattle can be a model and leader for cities to follow. I would like to thank my wonderful site supervisor, Arthur Bacchus, my faculty advisor, Dr. Alexandri, my mom, dad, sisters, Alyssa and Andrea, my partner, Nils, and the Colstrom family, and the entire Central District community. Thank you. All right, questions. Do we have any? Yes, in the back. I'm so sorry. Can you say that beginning part again? Yes. So the question is, great question, by the way. How can these strategies be used for neighborhoods that have already been gentrified or already experiencing it? Right? Did I get? Okay, cool. So the Central District is one of those. So they have gone through 2 waves of gentrification. The first wave was when Boeing came in and they changed the median income from, I believe the household median income was around 35,000. And then within a couple years in like 1993, it shot up to the highest earners were then 6-figure households. And then the second wave is kind of what they're feeling now with Amazon and Microsoft and whatnot. So these strategies can be used for the Central District now. And there's like a lot of different ways that we can combat the issue with like the 4 strategies I mentioned. Did that answer your question? Thank you. Oh, yes.
So like because in South Seattle, the link is actually above ground.
Yeah.
And, there's more traffic accidents and pedestrian therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like we have this connection in the community in the Central District. Did anybody raise concerns about having above ground?
Yes. So the question was the link. So the link can be built either below, on, or above ground. And there are health disparities that can be seen if it is both on ground and above ground. So the question was, I'm so sorry. I started to go in like my brain. See, I'm so sorry. Oh, what? Thank you. Okay, how did the Central District feel about it? So yeah, a lot of them, when I mentioned the link, they were like, no, I don't want it. Well, actually, excuse my language, they said, hell no. And another word, but they all immediately thought of on grade or above, and then they cited like southern parts of Seattle. And the next presentation actually talks about South Park, so you can get some more info on that. But yeah, they all initially thought that, and then when I said, hey, it's actually cheaper, healthier to go underneath, well, maybe not cheaper, but it's the better solution, then they were more excited about it. And that's where that 72.9% positive rating came from.